sports, politics, life. Finch Knife Company presents Kevin Keatsman Has Issues online at finchknifeco.com.
You'll have to pardon my lack of enthusiasm for the release of the first 37 documents of the Epstein client list ordered by a judge as being one big giant nothing burger. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff in there for us to talk about. There's names for people to get on Twitter and make a big deal about and text your friends and say, oh, this and oh, that. I just have thought all along, and the reason I've avoided Epstein on this podcast for so long is it's over. It's happened. It's in the rearview mirror, and nothing is going to come of any of this. Epstein is dead. He probably didn't kill himself. Ghislaine Maxwell, his pimp, is in jail for 20 years, and that's going to be the end of it. For crying out loud, we have testimony from a victim that she was essentially raped by Prince Andrew on that private island. This has been public knowledge for a long, long, long time, and nothing happened to Prince Andrew. Yes, Bill Clinton is mentioned 50 times in these first 37 documents, the set of documents that are released. Bill Clinton is mentioned 50 times. And he knew Epstein for over 20 years. And these guys clearly were close. He flew over and over and over on Epstein's jet. That doesn't mean they were all to the little island in the Caribbean where the young girls were basically used as prostitutes or sex slaves or whatever term you want to use. And we have witnesses in these documents, a witness, a victim, who says that Jeffrey Epstein, she asked one time about Bill Clinton, and Epstein told her he likes them young, meaning the girls. He likes them young. And then she testified that there were 14, 15, 16-year-old girls that were commonly used in these escapades. But there's very clearly all kinds of people that flew on Epstein's jet that never went to the island and never did anything with young girls and simply befriended and knew the wrong guy. I've met people, I can't say I've met people just like Jeffrey Epstein, but I have met a lot of people with a lot of money through the years. When you work in sports and cover really, really rich people, billionaires, 100 millionaires, people who started their own businesses, who have their own jets, who do their own thing, there is a common trait amongst many of them, not all of them. Some, they almost always live in extremes. These people tend to be extremely private, and you don't know where they are, what they're doing. That was Tiger Woods for years and years and years. He was extremely private. He was never part of the media gossip. He was never in People magazine. You never knew what Tiger was doing. The whole world just thought he was practicing at golf, working, and he was off doing what he did very privately. And he didn't bring a lot of famous people with him. He'd bring Perkins waitresses with him on the road and take women and keep them quiet and keep them private and do what he did. But he was not a celebrity stalker. The flip side of that with the rich people that I've met, the powerful people that I've met, is the money, sometimes even the fame, the perks, and the success in business after a while becomes mundane. Many of them get into their 30s or 40s. They've built something. They're very rich, and it's not enough. And what they crave is to hang out with celebrities. It's what they crave. I had business partners like this. That's all they wanted. Oh my God, get guests on the show. Have guests on. Get a name. Get a celebrity. Do this. Do that. Let's go to Lake Tahoe. Let's have all these guests. Let's line this up. Let's hang out. Let's go to this cocktail party. Let's get pictures taken. I had a business partner one time walk up to Paris Hilton in a casino while she was playing blackjack and turn around. This is the first time I ever saw a selfie. Can I get a picture, please? And then framed it and put it behind their desk like they knew Paris Hilton. You cannot explain this phenomenon in people. It is way more common than you think. It exists everywhere, or gossip sites wouldn't make money. Social media and Instagram wouldn't be what they are. Jessica doesn't care to meet celebrities, but my God, she follows them all. She sorted through them. She picks the ones she likes. They're mostly conservative. They're mostly women. And she follows their Instagram feeds and the things that they do and the cool things they wear and the trends and whatever. And she sees them for what they are. They're influencers. They're celebrities. That's all cool. That's all okay. Until it becomes an obsession. And I can tell you exactly what Jeffrey Epstein was. He was a successful man that made a lot of money, and it wasn't enough. He was a pervert. He was a sex freak. He was a typical liberal crazoid on the far left who loved young girls, really young girls, and bought an island and had a jet and thought, wow, I can do all kinds of things down there that will keep me from getting in trouble like I'd get in trouble in the United States. But even that wasn't enough. His sexual desires were not enough. His girl ring, sex trafficking was not enough. Jeffrey Epstein had to be around the most famous people in America. That's what these documents will show. They will not show that everyone that got on his plane went there and had sex with little girls. That's not what it's going to show. Donald Trump flew twice with Epstein, I believe both times to West Palm Beach, where Trump had a home. Maybe he just caught a flight. Said, hey, next time you're leaving New York, you want to catch a flight, come down with me, whatever. It's all possible. So Trump has been out there saying, look, I don't care what you say or think about me. Yeah, I was on his flight logs a couple of times, but I'd never been to that island. I never did any of this stuff. You can't get me. Bill Clinton is different. 50 times he's mentioning these things. Over 20 years, there was flight after flight after flight after flight after flight. Prince Andrew has been placed there. He has been accused of rape. There are clearly people on this list that did terrible things. Sorting through it all, going back and doing what? What are we supposed to do to Bill Clinton? If he did this, what are they supposed to do? It's the same thing I say about Donald Trump and what they're doing to Trump. What are we supposed to do to Bill Clinton? You think Bill Clinton's getting locked up? You're probably the person that thought Hillary Clinton was getting locked up. And you're probably the Democrat that thinks Donald Trump is getting locked up. It ain't gonna happen. We don't overturn elections and we don't jail these people. They're in control. They have the power. They have the right people in charge of everything. David Copperfield is named in these things. Michael Jackson was certainly one of the all-time great freaks. And I wouldn't put it past anything if Michael Jackson went down to that little island and had sex with little kids. Nobody's going to say that didn't happen. What are we supposed to do with this at this point? Michael Jackson's dead. Jeffrey Epstein's dead. Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison. Unless she wants to turn some sort of a witness and tell everybody exactly who did what, you're probably still got statute of limitations issues. I don't know what it is people want out of this other than the sheer entertainment value of, I hate Bill Clinton, therefore there's his name and he's a scumbag. Bill Clinton is one of the all-time scumbags. He's a lying, cheating man whore. We know what he is. He's scum. We got that. We've known that since the 90s. I was never excited about this list. There will be more. This is just the first drop. There's going to be a lot more. There's going to be more names. We're going to see all kinds of people. Al Gore was mentioned in this thing because of course he was. If Epstein's friends with Bill Clinton, he wants to be friends with Al Gore because Al Gore could become president. He wanted to hang with Donald Trump because he's a powerful, influential person who someday could be president. You know what Epstein's game was. He loved celebrities on his plane as much as he loved politicians or sex creepers. But I got to tell you, I've met people like Epstein, and anything they can do to get David Copperfield on his plane from Teterboro in New Jersey to West Palm Beach just to spend a couple hours with the dude and talk to him about being a celebrity and take pictures and put him on his desk and whatever, that's enough for Epstein. He didn't talk everybody into going to that island and having sex with little girls. He had go-betweens. These people are not all criminals. And here's another little factoid. There's not a famous person or celebrity in the world that turns down free flights. Travis Kelce flies on Taylor Swift's jet. He doesn't turn that down. You don't turn it down. Taylor Swift calls you and says, hey, I got a flight for you on my jet. You're taking it. Jeffrey Epstein was just giving away his airplane to everyone. In many cases, he wasn't on board. He just let them use it so they'd go to dinner with him in New York and he could be seen with a celebrity. He'd go out to the fancy restaurants. There's Epstein eating with a celebrity. The payback for using my jet to go where you want to go is I want to have dinner with you. And we'll go to dinner and we'll get our picture taken. There's going to be all kinds of people tangled up in this that did absolutely nothing. I can promise you that. Epstein was a celebrity whore. As much as he was a sex predator and a child sex trafficker and all the really awful things he was, this guy, I have met so many people like him They have money, they have power, they have control, and it ain't enough. They just want to take pictures with famous people. I've never understood it, but I've watched it over and over and over. I get people ask me all the time, show me all your pictures through the years. All these people, I've covered Tiger Woods, Bo Jackson, Joe Montana, Patrick Mahomes, had all these guys on my radio show and talked to them and interviewed them and been around them. And there were opportunities to be around them at dinners and functions and things like that. And I would stay away. I'd go to I never went to the 101 Awards. Not once. You know how many times the Chiefs invited me to the 101 Awards? I never went. And people said, well, why didn't you go? I said, it's just not really my place. These are football awards. I'm not that big a deal. Okay, so I get this free invite because I'm the biggest sports media guy in Kansas City. It's just one town. And I'm hanging around mostly Chiefs personnel that I see on a daily basis every day. I'm going to put on a tux to go hang out with the PR director of the Chiefs, who I see 3 times a week anyway. This all seemed silly to me. And I didn't want to go and get my picture with Peyton Manning. I like Peyton Manning, but I didn't care about going and staying there in a tux and taking my picture. I'm not Peyton Manning. What do you do with that picture? You put it up on your desk and you're telling the world, oh, I'm an equal to Peyton Manning. I'm not an equal to Peyton Manning. That dude is a Hall of Famer, smart, wealthy, good person by all accounts, successful in every possible way. My life has not been Peyton Manning's life. And me putting up a picture on my desk with Peyton Manning at the 101 Awards does not make me closer to Peyton Manning. He'll never remember the picture. I don't get it. I've never understood it. But I can promise you, after these documents were released, Jeffrey Epstein was that guy. That's all he wanted to do. He had more money than most of the people on his plane. But it wasn't enough. He wanted the celebrity. He wanted to be famous. And when he got famous, he got exposed. And people started whispering, like Harvey Weinstein and all these other sex freaks that are out there. They're creepers. They're creepers. They have an illness. But I can't really say Epstein's illness was hanging around with celebrities. There's too many people that would just drop everything they could do right now and hang around celebrities all the time. Millions and millions and millions of Americans. This is not an uncommon thing. I don't know what the number is. 1 in 4? 1 in 4 Americans would love to live the life hanging out with celebrities, that they just drop everything. I'm not saying you're getting it paid for. You just have the means, you have the way to be around these people all the time and take pictures and post on Insta or X or wherever and all these things, that you would just have this craving to do that. These people are driven by that every day. I've seen some bizarre pictures with people that I worked with. They took very strange celebrity pictures and then put them up in their office. You're like, what? Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal's a good dude. I'm okay with I'm down with Shaquille O'Neal. Would I ever put that up in my office? No, he didn't play in Kansas City. I didn't host his radio show. All these people that I had radio shows with, Patrick Mahomes, Derek Thomas, Alex Smith, Trent Green, all these different people. Danny Tartable back in the day with the Royals. We did numerous things with George Brett and Brian McRae and so many baseball and football. I didn't take pictures with them and put them up in the office. I don't understand it. But I promise you that's what Epstein was doing. And that most of this list is, And are they going to try to drill down at this point from a dead guy and his accomplice who's in jail and statutes of limitations that have probably expired and drill down and try to nail some of these people? Prince Andrew's running around free. He's clearly a creeper. His family's kind of disowned him, but he's a creeper because they know he's a creeper. Bill Clinton goes down in history as a creeper. Nobody's going to remember what Bill Clinton did as president other than he lied. He got his poll smoked under the Resolute desk by an intern. He's the original scumbag. All right, we know what Bill Clinton is. He's a lying, cheating man whore. And no matter what comes out in this, we don't think any differently because nobody looks at it and goes, oh, he had sex with 16-year-olds. Whoa, I'm shocked about Bill Clinton. Nobody's going to be shocked. There's no shock there. Nothing is going to happen to this man other than he dies in disgrace. That people with real standards, real morals, real Americans will remember this guy as a scumbag. They will. They'll probably remember him worse than Nixon or a lot of other people in politics that aren't remembered very well. You know, at least Jimmy Carter died with dignity recently. And people said, boy, that guy was a bad president. You know what? One hell of a man. One hell of a man who did more in his life to help other people and do things for people in a life of service than you can shake a stick at. And what a wonderful man. What's a better legacy, Carter's presidency or Bill Clinton's? Ask yourself, which would you rather be? I'd rather be known as the good person that failed than the really low-life scumbag man-whore that Bill Clinton was and probably is today in what would be considered by many a successful presidency. Presidency that he only got because there was a third-party candidate, or he never would have been president and never would have had any of these spoils. The luckiest American ever. And he's gotten away with, well, he's probably gotten away with murder. Let's be honest about it. Because Jeffrey Epstein was probably murdered. Doesn't seem to be keeping this stuff from coming out. But I'm sorry if you're disappointed. And if you think something's coming of this, that there's going to be trials and arrests and prosecutions and people going to jail, it ain't happening. If it does anywhere on any of this, it will be the lowest hanging fruit possible. It will be somebody you never heard of, a small-time player who was maybe a waiter at Epstein's club or something. They'll go get this guy who's probably in his 40s now and get somebody like that. That's all it would be. And I'm not even sure they can do that. Pardon my lack of enthusiasm for the Epstein list being released. Oh, it's interesting. I'll keep reading about it. And yes, we have a victim saying that Epstein told her that Bill Clinton likes him young. We got all that. It's entertaining. It's interesting. It's time-consuming. But just like when I made so many of you mad after the 2020 election. I said, forget it. They're not overturning this election. Nobody believes the outcome, but it ain't happening. There's just certain things in this country that do not happen. Trump ain't going to jail. He's not. All right? They're not. And the Bidens aren't really going to jail either. Because even if they go after Hunter, Joe's going to pardon him. So there you have it. KKHI is brought to you by Back9 Development, online at back9development.com. The new year could mean a new home for you. New home building is up. It is. A lot of folks are saying now is the time. Lock in the cost of what it costs to build that new home now and watch it go up in value as construction costs continue to rise and things of that nature. It's the perfect time to build. There's no resales out there for you to purchase. It's the perfect time to build. TJ Vilkanskis would love to build for you beautiful custom homes. He's also involved in commercial developments. It's back9development.com. If you log onto his website and you see what he's got, you're just going to be amazed at the quality of his work. Beautiful custom homes. If you'd like to meet TJ, he'd like to meet you. Like to sit down for lunch someday and talk about your dream and see if it might become a reality. Working with Back9 Development. 785-236-0161 is online at back9development.com. Does great work, folks, and he's a really good dude. Great family man. And you know if he's on this podcast, he believes a lot of the things that you believe. 785-236-0161. TJ Vilkanskis and his team at back9development.com. Got a great email here from Dustin. Says, Kevin, I want to let you know about the great service at Tickets for Less. My son is a freshman at Mizzou, and him and a buddy went down for the Cotton Bowl. They already had tickets, but needed a parking pass. I recommended Tickets for Less, and to my surprise, my teenager listened and acquired a parking pass from Tickets for Less using the KKHI promo code on their way to Dallas. Within minutes of ordering, my son received a call from Tickets for Less, let him know that the parking pass he ordered had just sold out, so they upgraded him to a closer spot with a shuttle bus free of charge. Awesome customer service. Also, my son Mason is the one you were gracious enough to go on his podcast, The Lookup, his freshman year at Staley High. I remember that, Mason. I remember being on your podcast. That's really cool. They went on to win a Missouri State High School Association award for their podcast with John Holt. Pretty cool stuff. They saved a few bucks on the parking pass with Tickets for Less, and Mizzou won. Thank you, Dustin. Dustin, thanks for your email. I get these all the time from folks. People love ticketsforless.com, and they love Kansas Cityans. There's a local number you can call. If you don't want to go online and try to figure it out yourself, they'll walk you through it, and these people are rock stars. 913-685-3322. They're online at ticketsforless.com. Every single thing on their website nationwide has a discount with the promo code KKHI. If you want to go to the Chiefs playoff game next week, the promo code for that game only is different. It's Chiefs Win. That's Chiefs Win. You can win with Fry Orthodontics or online at fryorthodontics.com. Teeth love us. You will too. Invisalign, ceramic, or metal braces. They take your individual goals and eliminate excessive treatment at Fry Orthodontics. That's what I love about them. They make the process simpler for you, easier on you. There's all kinds of videos on the website. If you go to fryorthodontics.com, there's also a very quick pop-up to sign up for your first free exam. It's easy. The first exam is free, and you can just fill in a little box with your name, email, phone number. They contact you and set you up. They'll find the location near you. There's a location anywhere you live in the Kansas City area. But the really cool part is limiting or eliminating entirely excessive treatments. We love that about Fry Orthodontics, where your smile is just the start. What is it about UFC fighters that they're now on the leading edge of what's really smart in America? These guys are awesome, and they're almost all conservative. And they're out there, they're Trump guys, and Trump shows up for the fights and all this cool stuff. And we've seen all these awesome Dana White and Joe Rogan and people related to this sport are like masculine men, Americans, traditional Americans. And UFC fighter Sean Strickland has spoken out this week on a podcast saying that America is weak. And he's got a very interesting reason why. Sean Strickland says America's become weak because our men are soft. He said there was a time and place where somebody came up to you and said something really bad. I'm not going to use his language or play you the clip because it's profane as all get out. Calling it, your wife a whore or the F word or your mom or your daughter, and they would provoke you and basically challenge you to fight him. But now the dudes that do that and provoke you get hit once and you get arrested. That we've dumbed down the system. We're not letting men be men. You hit a guy and you get arrested. You kill a guy and you go to jail. And he may have instigated it and brought the whole thing on you. And Sean Strickland backs this up by saying one of the greatest presidents we ever had was Andrew Jackson, who, quote, killed a man because the man implied his wife was a whore, unquote. Sean Strickland says since Andrew Jackson pulled out a pistol and shot, I think the guy's name was Gardner, wasn't it? Or Strickland or Gardner. The man he shot, I think, was a lawyer who had offended Jackson by saying really bad things about Jackson's wife. They had the duel and he shot him and killed him. And since then, they've dumbed us down, says Strickland. Quote, the government has slowly taken nuts away from men, unquote. That's pretty hard to argue. I have a saying. In the most, this gets me in trouble. I say this to my friends, but I'm going to say it on the podcast. This will get me in a lot of trouble with a lot of people. I have a saying that I've said for years. If you just look at how men are made, how they're wired, what we are on the planet for, okay, to protect, to feed, to reproduce, just take intelligence out of it, take society out of it, take everything out of it. If you think of how we are genetically, how we are wired and what we are built for, I tell people, and I say this with tongue in cheek, this is not profound or serious, but no men in the history of civilization have ever had it worse than American men in 2024. I just mean from biological sense. I'm not talking about financial or opportunity or safety or security of the homes we live in or the ease of travel and all the great things and luxuries we have in our life. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the basics of life. Nobody's ever had it worse. We have built laws that say we lose half of everything if we get married and divorced. We have laws that clearly there is no blind justice, that if a woman accuses a man of a sex crime, he is guilty until proven innocent. We've done this to ourselves. We've allowed this to happen in this country. I agree with Sean Strickland. Men have allowed this to happen. They have gone along with it. Some people say American men are emasculated. Sean Strickland is simply saying we're soft. However you want to say it or describe it, it's kind of all in the same boat. Are we better as a society for it? I can listen to that argument all day. I think we are. I think that men are pigs at their core. And if we didn't have these rails or safeguards in our society, in a civilized society, it would be terrible for women. It would be really, really bad for women. So I think these are advancements. But I will tell thee, I'll just say this, biologically, the way we're wired, the way we're built, the reason we are put on this planet, what we are supposed to do, we have chopped that in half, boys. No. That is not the way it works. And nobody's had it worse than American men. And a lot of it simply is just the laws. You look at the laws that we've enacted, and look, it's not a unique story in any way for a man to be successful and then to be married and even have children and get divorced and lose half of everything he worked for. What is that for a law? That doesn't seem right to me. Does that seem right to you? I mean, I don't know who came up with these things, but I don't know who invented the income tax. That's the worst thing I've ever heard. An income tax. We want to punish you for working. Oh, you're going to go to work and make money? We're taking some of that. What? I mean, we haven't even had that for 100 years, have we? Wasn't it like it's been a little longer than that, maybe. It was the 19 teens or something? It started, I'll have to look that up when the income tax has not been around very long, folks. It has not. And it's been nothing but a disaster, to be honest, because it's just too easy to raise. And now they're saying they want to do Social Security, your 6.2, you pay into that in perpetuity, no matter how much you make. There's no ceiling on that now. There used to be a ceiling of, I don't know what the ceiling is, of $125,000, $140,000 or something. Once you've made that, you don't get taxed on the rest of your income into Social Security. There's a max. They want to lift that now. Okay, I can understand that. That's the rich people. You want to lift that. That seems reasonable. I think most people would probably go along with that. The point is the 6.2%. Or in the case of Crooked Tail Media, we sit here and pay it individually and as a company. Ours is 12.4. And the thing's going broke. Don't get me started on taxes. I don't know how I just segued from the topic I was on to the taxes. But it leads me to Jesse Waters at Fox News and Representative Dan Crenshaw of Texas, who went ballistic on Instagram Wednesday on Jesse Waters. He was scheduled to be on Jesse's show, apparently, or on Fox News, and he was canceled. They said, nope, you're not coming on, because he took to Fox News and just obliterated Jesse Waters and said about Jesse Waters, quote, "Let's be honest, Jesse Waters seems like the type of dude who pees sitting down," unquote. That's pretty good. How bad was it? Well, Waters had done a thing about people in Congress and the percentage they made on their investments the year before. And Dan Crenshaw made 36% on his stocks last year. Folks, a lot of people made 36% last year. I'm an Apple shareholder, and it was almost 50% for the year. I think it was 48.5% in 2023. It was a great year. Dan Crenshaw held Apple stock, Meta, and I think Google. And he showed for his returns for last year 36%. It turns out Dan Crenshaw owns $10,000 in stocks. So he made about $3,600. He says, I'm trying to feed my 3-year-old, doing this thing the right way, and this dirtbag millionaire accuses me of being a criminal because he listed him with all the other people in Congress and the percentage they made. There is no shortage of people that made 36% last year, folks. I'm going to tell you right now. No shortage at all. If you were in tech stocks, you made it. But Crenshaw didn't stop there. After saying that Jesse Waters pees sitting down, he went to Instagram and said this man cheated on his first wife, meaning Waters, with a Fox News producer at work and left his wife with 2 twins to take care of and married the producer from work. He's a silver spoon rich kid connected to millionaires in media. And he is not some blue-collar conservative like he plays on TV. Said he's nothing more than a mediocre entertainer like you'd see on any show, and Fox News is a fraud. Jesse Waters is a dirtbag millionaire who attacks veterans and should be ashamed of himself. Well, don't hold back, Dan. I don't know enough about Dan Crenshaw. I do know that there's a lot of conservatives that really don't like him. Maybe he's turning into a Democrat and a liberal. I'm just not sure. I'm not going to spend a lot of my time on Dan Crenshaw. Other than this story, I couldn't not give it to you. There's no way that Dan Crenshaw can say these things about Jesse Waters, and I'm not going to fill this podcast up with it. That's just too good to be true. That's just fertile ground. But I think Dan Crenshaw's probably on his way to becoming a liberal. That's what it seems like to me. Washington Post poll, 46% of Americans say January 6th should disqualify Trump from being president. Okay, 46% seems like the number that's baked in, right? There's 46% of the vote that Cabo could run. My dog could run as the Democrat and get 46% of the vote to be president. I think that's true. But there is a troubling number in there, because that number doesn't trouble me so much until I look at the makeup of that 46%. It includes 9% of registered Republicans believe that Trump should be disqualified because of January 6th. Ooh, 9% of Republicans. You better believe those 9% will never vote for Trump. The best you can hope for is those 9% are going to stay home. These are registered Republicans, or at least they're telling pollsters that, who are apparently calling people based on registration. That's the way polls scientifically work. 9% of registered Republicans say that Trump should not be allowed to run because of January 6th. That's disturbing to me. That's scary. We need a third-party candidate. Because if that's true, RFK Jr. or Manchin or whoever can have those 9% because Trump ain't getting them. We need a third candidate then to take votes from Biden. And it may happen. We'll see. Bit of a scary number right there. Sports Today, brought to you by Ideal Health, Kansas City. This is Dr. Kip Van Camp, letting your body's tissue and blood work for you. Big Pharma does not like regenerative medicine. They do not. Dr. Van Camp is a double board certified interventional radiologist who, about 15 years ago, changed what he was doing, dedicated his life to regenerative medicine, and said, this is the future. He helped his dad before his dad died. He helped his dad get 3 years or more of extra life with this. Stem cells, tissue research. He's written all kinds of publications that have been published in multiple journals around the country. Joint pain, COVID shot issues, Alzheimer's onset, Parkinson's, PRP, blood spinning, patch therapy, ozone therapy. These are all great things for your body. If you're in pain and you have not found a solution taking pills and getting shots, log on to idealhealthkc.com or call 913-745-5300. I don't make any promises here, folks. I don't. But this could be your way to becoming pain-free. If you have not tried this, this could be the answer. Dr. Van Camp says he has about an 80% success rate. With people that give it a try, 80%. Pretty cool right there. IdealHealthKC.com. Amini's Galleria New Year's sale. That's right. They got to clear it out to bring in all the spring furniture. The outdoor furniture's on its way. That means so many things at Amini's have to be cleared out of their warehouse. Indoor stuff like pinball machines, gaming, jukeboxes, golden tea. Oh, it's all right there. You're going to love it. They've got everything you could possibly want. They also have hot tubs and now saunas for your home, either built-in or standalone saunas for your house. Get the health benefits of a sauna in your home without spending tens of thousands of dollars like you would if you tried to build one at your home. They've got them on the showroom floor at Amini's. If sauna may be for you with aching knees or whatever, go to Amini's, 105th and Metcalf, and check them out. Tell them Kevin sent you. They've got 60 months, no interest available right now at Amini's. This is Amini's. And advanced medical imaging online at medimageks.com. I probably get 2 or 3 emails a week from those of you that are going to advanced medical imaging, getting your heart scan done. Boy, there's a great New Year's resolution for you. If you're 40 or older and you've not had your heart scan, do it. This is the best preventive medicine you could ever have. Insurance should pay for this. It doesn't, but it only costs about $100. So you can do this out of pocket. Advanced medical imaging online at medimageks.com or call Tricia at 785-856-0224. And don't forget, if you need an MRI or a CT scan, there is no reason to wait 5 weeks to do it inside your hospital chain. Your insurance is accepted at Advanced Medical Imaging, and they will get you in today or tomorrow. If your doctor says this doesn't look good and we see this, We need to go get a scan, get it done right away. There is no reason to wait ever. Advanced Medical Imaging, medimageks.com. On to sports. We did a Patreon podcast yesterday with the two big sports headlines of yesterday, and that is Blaine Gabbert starting for the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill's house burning down. We did a whole riff on Tyreek Hill yesterday. If you want to hear that, you got to become a patron. I had a lot of fun at Tyreek's expense. We did. We had some laughs with this. $7 million house burning down. He's standing out there in his boot, and his wife's on her phone giving him a hard time about wearing a boot in the driveway. I'll get to the Dolphins in a moment, the football part. But Blaine Gabbert will start for the Chiefs. Mahomes will not see the field. Sounds like Travis Kelce's a maybe. Andy Reid stated we're going to rotate the other guys in. Kelce needs 16 yards to get to 1,000. I think that would be 8 years in a row, which is quite a milestone. I think Kelce will get his 16 yards, and that'll be that. I think the Chargers may be in on it. I think a phone call may be in order, and nobody would ever know. And even if they found out, nobody would ever care. It's a completely meaningless game. Hey, we're going to throw to him on the first series. Okay, let's get him his 16 yards and be done with it, and he's out of the game, and let's play on. Andy Reid says this is a really important game for all these other guys. He's like, we got players who need to step up over the next month. He's talking about Justin Ross at wide receiver. There's a lot of players at a lot of positions that need to step up. I don't think you're going to see much of the stars. These Pro Bowl guys, Chiefs that made the Pro Bowl yesterday, Mahomes, Kelce, Creed Humphrey, Joe Tooney, Chris Jones, they all made the Pro Bowl. I don't think you're going to see them much. I don't think you're going to see L'Jarius Sneed or McDuffie or Reed very much in this game. I think you're going to see all kinds of guys out of the game and on the sideline, which might make it a little unwatchable, but it's maybe a little more interesting. Andy Reid says, we're coaching to win. We're playing to win. It'll be fun to see what the Chiefs' backups do against the Chargers. It should be noted that Easton Stick has been terrible for the Chargers. You would think that Blaine Gabbert and the Chiefs' offense would have a little bit more than the Chargers, but who knows? If nobody's playing for the Chiefs' defense, then Easton Stick will probably look really good. All right, so the Chiefs' television ratings in 2023 are amazing. The Chiefs had 5 of the top 10 highest-rated games of the year. They had number 1, that was the Super Bowl. Number 2, that was the Bengals championship game. Number 6 was the Lions season opener. Number 7 was the Jets game this year, and number 10 was the Packers. Chiefs had 5 of the 10 highest-rated games in America this year. There is power in the brand, and people do watch. Now, part of that, obviously, was getting into the number 1 and the number 2 slot, which was the Super Bowl and the AFC championship game. Make no mistake about it, and just know this as a Chiefs fan, when all these people are watching, and 54 million people watched the AFC title game, most of America was rooting for the Bengals. That's where the Chiefs are. It's just where they are. The Pro Bowl snub, if you ask me, L'Jarius Sneed. Dude had some penalties, especially early in the year. L'Jarius Sneed did not give up a touchdown this year. 0. Nobody has better stats. Nobody rated better than L'Jarius Sneed at cornerback. He didn't even sniff this thing. The AFC Pro Bowl team has Jalen Ramsey, Denzel Ward, Sauce Gardner, and Pat Surtain at cornerback. Not even a thought of L'Jarius Sneed. And it shows you how much of a joke the Pro Bowl is, because it's always at least a year behind. All these Chiefs offensive players are in, and Mahomes is in with Tua and Lamar Jackson. Those are the 3 quarterbacks. You don't have to be the top guy to make the Pro Bowl. Kelsey's in. He's going to have 1,000 yards. It makes sense. Creed Humphrey's a stud. Chris Jones is a stud. I get it. I'm not saying these guys shouldn't have been Pro Bowlers, but nobody wants to look at the Chiefs defense and say, oh, wow, look at that. No, they want to hear somebody with a name like Sauce on a losing team that I've watched give up touchdowns this year. Well, L'Jarius Sneed didn't give up 1. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't feel sorry for these guys. Whatever. But L'Jarius Sneed, I'm sure, has a nice bonus in his contract for making the Pro Bowl. I would seriously, if I was Clark Hunt, I would make the call right now. I would say, Andy, call L'Jarius in and tell him whatever bonus is in his contract, we're paying it. Whatever Pro Bowl bonus he has, he's got it. Because he was a Pro Bowler this year. We're going to not pay it because it's a stupid system and he didn't get in, because that dude is a stud, man. Absolute stud. The Chiefs have a bunch of studs on the defensive side. Our final is presented by North Kansas City Dental, online at nkcdental.com. Your new dentist is Dr. Bill Bush at North Kansas City Dental. Offices in Kansas and Missouri, 816-471-2911 for North Kansas City Dental. bstock.net. Think New Year. Lenovo ThinkPad. That's right. Think New Year ThinkPad. Oh, this is a beauty, man. Lenovo ThinkPad $399, and this is the good one. Just for KKHI listeners. They've also got the Samsung CU7000 85-inch LED LCD Smart TV, 4K, just $799 with free delivery. That is a wacky low price. You can have it in time for the Super Bowl in February. And they're really wanting to get rid of a bunch of LG 65-inch smart TVs, just $349. $349. Every competitor everywhere is close to $500 on this one. $349. And I'll just give you a little tip. $349. Yeah, maybe call them an offer from $329. These babies got to go. These things got to go. LG 65-inch, great televisions. They also got Apple MacBooks, an additional $50 off if you mention the podcast on Apple MacBooks and MacBook Pros. And my friend Chris Benson at TimeWise Media. I got a call from a dude yesterday who's calling TimeWise to improve his social media presence, his optimization, pop-up ads, where people in his industry, when they get online, it will pop up. That TimeWise can connect you and pinpoint your exact customers to where you're not shooting the shotgun approach. It's like a rifle shot. They're going to get you right to the phone or the computer of people that are most likely to be your clients, like if you're in the real estate business. If you do something related to real estate, they can target it simply to the realtors in Kansas City, to where people that are realtors, your information will pop up on their phone all the time. They're so good at this. TimeWiseMedia.com. TimeWiseMedia.com, or call Chris Benson at 913-702-2722. Okay, here's one I don't understand. You know that we have a love for dogs, and we have rescued dogs. The closest thing I had ever to like a pure breed, I guess, was a Jack Russell. Is a Jack Russell a pure breed? I had a Jack Russell one time, and he was a nightmare. It's a sad story. I've probably told it. Maybe you remember it. But anyway, this dog was crazy. Since then, we've been adopt, don't shop, which I don't care if you shop for a dog. That's great, too. A lot of people love a certain breed. So many people love Goldens or Retrievers or Labs or whatever and love their dogs, and that's what they want. We may go full Beagle next time. We love the Beagle in Cabo so much. He's half Beagle. We love the Beagle in him so much. We may do it'll probably be the next dog would probably be like a Beagle mix. But we're just in love with the breed. He's just so docile and sweet and adorable, and he's just wonderful. I can't speak more highly about the disposition of beagles or anything with beagle in them. But the American Kennel Club, you know this, they have the dog shows and they have all these purebreds and all. They don't have a mutt category, because I'd be rolling Cabo out there, man. I'd be like, you can't tell me what this dog is, but he's awesome. Look at this awesome dog. Yes, I would. I'd proudly do that. And he'd sit and he'd do whatever I asked him to do, just like those purebreeds do. The American Kennel Club has announced they've recognized a new breed called the Lancashire Heeler. It's a small dog. They're putting it in the herding group. It's smart, it's fast, it's tenacious. It's an affectionate lap dog that cuddles. It's small but sturdy. Hell, it sounds just like little Cabo that barks at the end of the podcast. The bark is coming up. How do you have a new breed? Can anybody explain this to me? Or if these are purebred dogs, is this a pure breed that's been around for hundreds of years and they're just now recognizing it? Or how do you have a new breed, a Lancashire Heeler? I'm not sure I understand. I'm a little confused by this. I'm sure I'll get emails, and I will read the follow-up emails if you can clue me in on this. But I don't get this. I don't get this part of loving dogs. But the American Kennel Club has recognized a new breed. Looks like a great dog for Kevin and Jessica. I'll be honest with you. It looks like a dog that would be perfect for us. Lancashire Heeler. Small dog in the herding group. Yep, there it is. Hey, who knew? You know, normally I read stories like that as the final, and they find some bones somewhere, you know, in Antarctica under 40 feet of ice. And they go, oh, we think we found a new animal that was on Earth 1 million years ago. Those stories are pretty cool. But a new breed of dog? Huh? Like just trotting out there at their little event? Not sure exactly how. It seems more like a Guinness Book thing. Oh, we'll just go ahead and, let's put this one in the good book. Lancashire Heeler, welcome to the book. You are now recognized as a registered pure breed by the American Kennel Club. That's KKHI for this Thursday. We've got Lee Sterling and his picks coming up on Friday. Don't forget, Between the Lines 2.0 is later today with Danny Klinkscale returning. If you'd like to become a patron, you can hear that each and every Thursday. It's a lot like the old radio show. We talk sports. That's why we call it Between the Lines 2.0. It's pretty much a copy clone of what the radio show used to be. If you used to like that with Danny and myself, sign up, become a patron, kkasissues.com, and we'll hit you every Thursday with Between the Lines 2.0.
Kevin Keatsman Has Issues has been presented by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC and is produced by Crooked Tail Media. Please hit the like or follow button wherever you listen or give us a review. For premium content podcasts and weekly newsletter, join as a patron at kkhasissues.com for as little as $5 a month. Support all our sponsors and other conservative businesses at thekklist.com.
This has been a production of Crooked Tail Media, Incorporated.